Hi, remember Sonny? You probably do. Nobody who watches my channel doesn't know him. Well, he's back.
He's back! He's back!
Sonny.
He's back! He asked me to bring his
Gear.
back. I couldn't leave him. Not that.
You need to take your pills, Momia.
And he's out for blood. My Discord mod hit me with this clip of Sonny talking about it with Joe. Who's Joe? Joe. Based off your comments from the last video, well, not the last one, the one before it. Yes, I do read every single comment. You guys want me to show it to you and to comment on it, so here we are. Speaking of Discord, you're not in my server yet? Well, that's probably better for your health, now that I think about it, but still, you look like a lot of fun. I would love to have you there. You should slip in there, real quick.
I was like, I want to do something. I want to go back to our roots. I want to shoot something that's difficult. I want to get out of this pandemic mindset, this safety mindset. Let's go shoot Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Egypt. So we did Zimbabwe first. Awesome. Lovely people. Then we landed in Egypt. As soon as we landed there, the airport is a mess.
So, much like all our government-run facilities, the airport is a mess. Now, keep in mind, I sadly have not been to it in my adult life, so I can't comment much on how it is now and all that, but here's something that I do know. Recently, people have been getting charged at customs for personal use shit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I ain't no lawyer by any stretch, but aren't customs supposed to be on imports and exports only? I don't think a personal laptop, for example, should be charged for. But I've seen many stories of people online getting charged for it anyway, or having it confiscated. And what you gonna do about it? Complain to the government? They're the ones that took it away.
So I have a drone. I have a drone because we're flying with the drone. I didn't leave from home. I know you can't have a drone there already, but it was like a 2-hour process for them to go between 12 different people and have me give my drone to somebody who would put it in a locker.
Again, this is typical Egyptian government shit. Almost all paperwork involves fetch quests like this and getting tossed back and forth between different employees to get this whatever you're doing done. And in many cases, if there are any non-routine decisions to be made for your case, nobody will want to act and take responsibility. You'll keep passing it around. If X is cool with it, then go ahead, but that's on him. And if you do go to that X, they say the same thing about the first person or another one, and so on. Or alternatively, just be completely paralyzed and wait until a superior comes in and tells them what to do exactly. And this is not entirely the employee's fault, since any bullshit that happens causes them to get pay cuts. Similar to that one police driver a while ago, if you remember that video from the highway thing. His reasoning for being so passive was that the car is government property, aka any damage to it will come out of his pay, which I can only assume is already horribly low, seeing his rank and the type of job he has. A little tangent here, but I think it's important to contextualize the bureaucracy you're seeing.
Fine. It's like 1 a.m. We're getting to our hotel. Finally, we're going to get some rest, and then we have the next day to do a little scouting before we start shooting. Now, you know you're not in the best place if your hotel has as much security as an airport. So we pull up at this hotel and they are like, you need to scan the bags. I'm like, nah, no thanks. Don't worry about that. They're like, yeah, we're scanning all the bags. In big, giant scanners outside the hotel. So every time you walk into this hotel, it's like you're going through airport security.
Is that all hotels in Egypt?
Not, it's the expensive ones. And so we were in a decent hotel.
Are you in Cairo?
Yeah, in Cairo.
Most hotels have some security, but if I remember correctly, the one they were staying in was pretty close to Tahrir Square, and it was in January, so it is to be expected, honestly. It isn't a surprise to me and won't be to any Egyptian either. But I don't think this level of paranoia is the norm. If you book a hotel far from locations of interest, you probably will have it a lot smoother to check in, expensive or not.
And so they scan our bag. They see a bunch of wires inside because we have all of our chargers, and they open the bag, and then this is where the shit hit the fan. So they open it up. The first thing they see is 4 walkie-talkies. So it turns out walkie-talkies are illegal to have in Egypt. For me, I couldn't understand this. It's like, but I have WhatsApp, I have the internet, I have Messenger. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is there's been 2 revolutions in the last 11 years. The government can turn off the internet. They can't turn off your walkie-talkies. And so they're scared of journalists, and they're scared of more uprisings in the future. And so the police, the government, everyone there is very, very controlling.
Yep, he's right on this one. Egypt is obsessed with censorship, and even in normal times, relatively speaking anyway, the internet is heavily censored here, with many sites being blocked, some VoIP services being disabled, such as voice chatting games, and the already shitty and overpriced connections being throttled constantly. And you know the funny thing is, during COP27, the climate change roleplay they did a while ago in Sharm, all censored websites work just fine, including VoIP. We have a bunch of important people coming in. We have to look good and actually be just a little bit good, just a little bit, not too good, not too much, okay? Just a little bit. But what about the Egyptians after they leave? Huh? Who? Oh, nah, fuck those guys. They don't matter.
And so for the next 6 hours, from about 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., my team had to sit outside the hotel in the cold.
Okay, man, the cold. It's like summertime where you come from. Why are you acting like that's such a big deal? Why you lying?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Stop your fucking lying.
And we were questioned nonstop about why are you here? Why do you have this gear? All these questions. Meanwhile, we said we're gonna have a permit. We're getting it tomorrow.
Can't you just show them your YouTube channel and your bandana?
Oh my god, the bandana would have sold it.
So, I mean, like, look, it's me.
Holy shit, Joe solved it. Next time he runs into any trouble, he should just whip out the bandana.
This guy, oh my god, and the night manager of this hotel, I hope to one day find him and choke him out.
Oh, kinky.
This guy had no business questioning us, and he said, well, you all four travel together, right? So it's 2 camera guys and my producer Liz and myself. And he's saying, well, show me all your passports and the country that you've been to, and all the dates need to line up in every country. And it's like, even if we all met today for the first time, what we're doing still isn't illegal. And we showed him the channel, everything. I said, I'm here to review food. I'm not doing anything else. We'll have our permit tomorrow.
The only sketchy part about this, to me as an Egyptian, of course, is that the hotel manager is doing this questioning. I would expect this to be done by someone from the police, not this guy.
In the end, they took all of our cameras, they took some of our lights, they took our some hard drives, and the police kept it. And the police said, hey, don't worry about this. It's not a big deal. Show us the permit tomorrow. We'll give it back. It's like, all right, frustrating, exhausting, go to sleep. The next day, we got the permit. I go to the airport. We spend about 4 hours, 5 hours there. They won't give it back.
What are they saying?
Egypt is a country of intense bureaucracy. Layers and layers of people who don't want to stick their neck out for anybody else, and who don't want to make decisions. And at least that was my experience there.
Oh, it's literally what I just said. I didn't even watch this yet, but hey, good on Sonny. Bro knows what's up.
And so it took maybe 2 or 3 hours just to get access to customs. When we finally got, I mean, we had to go. It seems all so pointless. It's like government jobs created so people have something to do. We spent an hour just to make a name badge that said we had permission to be in customs just for, that one day. A plastic badge with my face on it. Cool, super efficient.
So Egyptians love putting dumb, unnecessary, or straight up unrealistic rules, and naturally, loopholes start showing up. And things start getting done the other way, which usually involves bribes, favors, knowing someone somewhere, or just utter chaos and confusion in the guts of the system, until you eventually emerge with whatever the fuck it was you wanted, if you even still remember what that was.
So then we get in there and they said, no, you can take this gear when you leave the country. That's when you can have it back, when you leave the country. Like, are you fucking kidding me? They have all my stuff. And so at this point, we go, we have one option left, which is that we can shoot on this. We have the iPhone. I can go buy another iPhone, and we still had some microphones that they didn't take, and lights. It's amazing. They took my lights, right? I just went to the store and bought more lights. I don't know what the point of taking my lights was.
This is a result of the disconnect between the ones making rules and calling the shots and reality, and also between themselves. There is no coordination, none, zero. Even the judicial branches. We've had a document that doesn't even exist requested in court before. I don't remember exactly the details, but it was a discontinued form that the office we were dealing with didn't know was discontinued. Also, kinda off topic, but also kinda related. Birth certificates here have a validity date, after which you have to go extract a new one from the civil archives. Like it's a carton of milk that will go bad or something. Yeah, it's a money grab.
So it seems like everything's going to be okay. In my head, I'm still stuck on this idea of like, I still want to make a positive series about Egypt. The people overall were friendly, not the officials, but the people. The food's really interesting and delicious.
Honestly, Sonny is a saint for that. If it were me, I would be done with everything. Though I guess my patience has taken a huge hit from being here. As an outsider dealing with this for the first time, he would probably be more shocked, but not as jaded from it as me and the other people here would be.
The next day, halfway through shooting day 1, the police stop us. It's always some guy in plain clothes. He whips out a wallet with a dirty ID on it. Hey, police, come over here. Come, bring the whole van, bring everyone over here.
Honestly, they're lucky they even got to see the badge. I've never seen an Egyptian police ID before. I don't know what it looks like. Normally, you have to just trust this guy in civilian clothing that he's a cop. Or have the gun fill in for the ID, since civilians can't carry guns, so that means he's either actually a cop or a very confident bandit. Usually a bit of both.
What the fuck is going on? We have our permit at this point. We have a permit, it has my picture on it. We have all the credentials that we're legally required to have. We go to the police station. In the meantime, I have a dummy phone. I've transferred some of the footage onto an extra phone so that I don't, so if he asks me to delete something, I'll delete the dummy footage. And exactly that happens. The police officer says, sorry, you have to delete all this stuff.
What does he want you to delete?
Yeah, great question. Food. So we went to a restaurant. We shot food, and on the street too, we shot some bread that they were making on the streets. And that's it. And he just was like, these pictures aren't beautiful. This isn't good. Suddenly this guy is like a documentary critic. And he's just saying,
so he's
not
acting
okay.
as like a spokesperson for the country, like for PR? Like he doesn't think that your footage is good enough?
It's confusing to understand the motives sometimes, especially because we had a permit that said we had permission to shoot on the sidewalks and to do exactly what we were doing.
It isn't really that the footage wasn't good enough. They just hate having their own country documented, unless they're the ones doing it, so they can have absolute control over what is shown and said. And they hate relinquishing even an ounce of that control. This country is like a crazy ex, except it's not an ex, and I am stuck in a toxic relationship under duress. Please send help. Please.
And it's not like, a lot of people watch my video talking about this, and they're like, well, idiot, you can't just show up. Yeah, okay, we've been doing this for a while. We didn't just fucking show up. We had a plan. We had a fixer there. We had permits. We went through all this tedious process before even landing. And so with the permit, it's funny because I asked our fixer, I said, we have the permit. What's the permit doing? Obviously, he's telling me to delete the footage. What's the purpose of the permit? And he just goes, well, we're not in jail. We're not in jail. So it was a complete fucking debacle.
Permit is a formality at best. It doesn't really shield you from anything. It just gives you the benefit of the doubt if you run into trouble. It's proof that you are willing to jump through their hoops and work with the system. So they will be gentle with you. They will use lube. No, I'm sorry.
So you could have been in jail.
That's what
for
he
filming
said.
bad footage, what they considered not beautiful footage of food.
Well, and if you look it up, there are people who they accused of being journalists who are in jail even now in Egypt. And maybe they're journalists, maybe they were tourists. It's hard to say. What's confusing about Egypt is that it's not like I went to the Congo. This is a country that brands themselves as a tourist destination, right?
Yes.
We've got the pyramids, we have take a ride on the camels, there's all these incredible things you can do.
Exactly. I always say that. Egypt's problem is not being a shithole. There's plenty of other shitholes around. It's pretending not to be a shithole. False high expectations, which leads to confusion and disappointment, like this. Whereas if you visit a place, knowing not to expect much from it, you won't be as disappointed.
I want to go there.
Yeah.
Really?
Make sure you have a good guide or someone with you.
Well, not gonna miss a chance to stress the importance of a guide now, am I? Sonny agrees. If I remember correctly, his guide was as useless as man boobs, which greatly contributed to the confusion and awfulness of their experience.
25 journalists detained. Egypt's third worst jailer of media workers globally. Whoa.
It's funny how this information is so readily available online. Despite all their efforts to not let word get out, it did, and ironically their efforts made it worse, tenfold. There's a saying we have here which goes like, اللي خايف من العفريت بيطلع له, which equates to, if you're scared of the ghost, it's gonna come for you. Meaning that the more you try to avoid something, the more you end up making it happen yourself. And it applies to this pretty perfectly.
What's interesting is so many YouTubers had similar experiences to me, and they didn't talk about it. And I'm so happy that police officer talked to us on that day and made me delete that footage, because it just flipped it for me. It's like I got punched in the face 10 times, and now I'm ready to finally fight back after trying to be peaceful. And now I'm like, I'm just going to show everybody the reality of what it's like to shoot here. And when we posted the videos, of course, there's a little bit of concern, like, am I going to get hated? Is there going to be backlash? We got thousands and thousands of comments of people talking about their awful experiences that they had while in Egypt.
Just regular tourists.
Regular tourists, regular people who maybe they had a GoPro or They're really anti-camera.
Yeah, I feel like Sonny's show kind of jump-started this whole trend of exposition. I mean, it was already a thing before, a significant part of it being that Reddit thread I reviewed over a year ago. But the size of their channel and the dramatic level of the situation really sold it and sent more people talking about it rather than being quiet and forgetting about it, which I think is a good thing. It's what I've been doing. Does it harm the country? Probably not as bad as the country harms itself, to be honest. But does it benefit anyone who visits, who otherwise would have no clue and get into trouble, possibly even get hurt? Absolutely. And that's worth it to me. The fuck do I care about Egypt anyway? I haven't seen any good from it, or from its people. But this random visitor watching me has done me no harm. Technically even done me some good by watching it, and even more so if they like, share, and comment. So am I willing to help them? Yes, of course. Now, before I let y'all go, I want to shout out my guy Rolzan, I have no clue, and Sulin, for the coffee. You are based. You too can be based, if you so wish. It's only a few clicks away, and the link is right there. All that being said, I love you all so much, and until next time, take care. Wait, are you still here? Good. I almost lost you there. As I promised, bloopers for this video and future videos, as well as extra clips and content will be available on Buy Me a Coffee subscription. If you, for some reason, want more of me, bad enough to pay a little bit for it, you can find it there. Okay, thanks. Bye.